Happy Friday, right? So let's get started. So we'll see what kind of some of the first things are that we're going to talk about today. Okay, so oh, that was really fast. So the first thing that's coming through for me right now from Spirit is they're saying that for the past few weeks we've been learning about how to kind of balance and protect our energy field and just to manage it with everything that's going on. So all the fluctuating energies around us. So we've been learning how to integrate this knowledge from them and start using it and applying it in our day-to-day lives, right? So for protection around our own energy field. And so what they were just saying now is that, so now that we've kind of established some of that learning, they were just saying, so now what can you, their focus is shifting a little bit now to what can you teach others? So what do you know now that you can focus on sharing and teaching others? There's this whole element about teaching that they're just talking about now. So now that you've kind of maybe feeling a bit more grounded, or you're at least starting to integrate that, and you're anchoring yourself at your solar plexus. I talk about that a lot, and you're maintaining your own personal energy field and protecting it. What can you share with others? What can you teach others that you've learned? So this doesn't necessarily have to be around like spirituality or anything, or energy or anything like that. It's just in general, what can you teach to others? And they're saying that because teaching and sharing with others contributes to that high vibe, like high frequency love energy. So think about what you can share and teach to others right now, whether it's in your community, your family, your network, all of those things. Okay, so that's the first thing that I'm getting from them. So an emphasis on teaching. And also, they're just talking now about like having the freedom to like rearrange your schedule a little bit in a way that works better for you. Instead of like, if you guys are having a tendency to try and stack everything in one day, like try and getting it all done in one day, so it'll have this day free or whatever. They're just asking you maybe to try like rearrange your schedule so it like suits you better. So your schedule is made for you versus, the other way around. So that's the second thing. Okay, and they're just showing me the dolphin. So let's look at dolphin. I know it's in here somewhere. Dolphin. There it is. Here's the dolphin. Okay, so let's look at what the dolphin says. So if dolphin shows up, it means take a few minutes today to meditate while playing one of your favorite pieces of music. Okay. Listen more and talk less, especially to the more subtle levels of communication from other people and from the natural world. Super interesting. Think and behave more lovingly and positively toward that person you're having difficulty with. This is so funny to hear this because we just talked about that whole idea with the lion previously. So, are you guys like, I would love to know if you guys are having issues with anybody right now, or if you're just having difficulty with anybody. Maybe it's in your family or at work or something like that. Would love to know. if that's your case. So smile more at others and notice how they smile back at you. And then try dolphin breathing. So dolphin breathing is taking 3 slow, deep breaths, each time exhaling with the audible p sound. Then observe how you feel. 3 slow, deep breaths. Interesting, with audible p sound. I'm gonna have to try that one. Okay, so that's dolphin, and then call on dolphin when things have become routine and monotonous and you need to breathe some freshness into your life. Okay, that's why we're getting dolphin, because we were just talking about schedule, right? So rearranging the schedule so that you are not stressing yourself out and your schedule isn't ruling you, right? You're making your schedule fit to you. So you can call on dolphin to help you with that. Call on dolphin when you're having a conflict with someone close to you and you want to clear things up. You're feeling uptight and you want to release all of your tension. There's a problem with or a blockage of communication in any relationship. Or you've been prompted to move into some deeper spiritual work. Okay, super interesting with the lion and then now the dolphin. So would love to know, you guys, if you're having any issues right now or just kind of, I don't know, maybe some challenges with someone in particular or in your family or at work or a friend, anybody you're having difficulty with, because both of these animals are talking about that. So if it's not now, maybe it's going to be coming up in the next week or so. So, interesting. Okay, so let's keep going here. What else? Okay, and I definitely feel like this message is for me, but maybe you're experiencing this too. So Spirit is talking about if you're getting soreness or tightness or joint pain or anything in your legs, especially around your knees and hamstrings, which I know that I have been, and whenever I do my bar fitness workouts, I'm like, why am I so sore at the back of my legs? And so anyway, maybe you guys are feeling this too, but they were just saying the reason that is just because there's an area of life that you're not being flexible enough in, you're being too rigid about something, you're being inflexible, and as a result it's showing up here being super tight and strained in your legs at at the back of your knee, or maybe it's even in your feet. So think about what that could be and how you can maneuver around that moving forward. I already know what it is for me. So you might have to reflect a little bit for yourself, but that's interesting. So now you know if you're having any leg issues. So just reading your comments. Tatiana says, me and my best friend, we've been fighting a lot. Interesting. Candace says, yesterday those challenges came up for my husband and I. Yeah, so okay, so we've got some powerful animals to help us this week with all these kind of personal relationship challenges and communication and emotions flying. So lion and dolphin, okay, for those two. So let's go back in. And I'm also getting tortoise again. I know I had tortoise the last week, I think. So you can, I'm not going to go through tortoise today, but you can go back onto the YouTube from last week, the YouTube recording, and you can go find where we talk about tortoise. So that animal is still working with us at this time. So they're just saying that you may experience some uncomfortable changes coming up over the next few days or even the next week. And they're just asking you just to be like in the know, like be prepared for it. And it's just a matter of shifting and realignment. So it's going to feel uncomfortable, not necessarily any bad stuff, but just like they just want you to know. So they say that they're helping you to remove some excess energy that isn't serving you in some way. So you might be you might release something, or they seem to be helping you with that. And so that makes sense with having Archangel Michael around us. He helps us clear and heal energy and also protect us at the same time. So you may be removing some stuff that doesn't serve you anymore, whether it's voluntarily or involuntarily, okay? This is super interesting. It's random. So, and now they're just talking about how they're just reminding everybody to do your part with recycling. So like separating your garbage from your recyclable materials to your composting, like getting rid of your scraps properly. So they're just asking for teamwork on with our environment and helping us maintain our environment at this time. I really feel this is all a part of this new paradigm that we're moving into, the new light paradigm, where we're helping to raise the vibration of the planet together. We're raising our global consciousness. So just remember to be conscientious with how you are disposing of stuff. So this could even include, like, if you're doing your spring cleaning and you're getting rid of stuff, make sure that you give yourself the opportunity to donate things. Don't just throw them out, and make sure that you're disposing of them properly and responsibly, okay? And just on that, they're talking about how and this doesn't necessarily, we're not being targeted, it's not like we're being targeted by spirit on this, but they're just adding, like, as a general note, when we're not disposing of things properly, we are contributing to the fragility of kind of animals that are endangered. So when we're contributing to the landfills and things like that, and we're not being responsible with how we dispose of things, it really affects our planet. So this is interesting. So they're just talking about, like, how we really affect endangered species. We affect other species on the planet when we're not being responsible. And again, I want to say this, we're not picking on anybody. We're just saying this as a general comment. So maybe you can continue, maybe this is information that you can share with your family, or, if you notice, somebody littering or anything like that, like, just, be a global citizen and contribute to a healthier earth, okay? Okay, and now, so going back to the whole schedule work stuff, they're just talking about how one tip that you can use in your work day is, they're saying make sure that you, and this won't be for everybody, okay? because not everyone's going to resonate with this, but always take what you can, take what resonates for you with these messages, right? But they're just saying that one really good way to kind of break up your work day is not only what we just talked about, having the schedule that works for you, but they're just saying in the details of it, like give yourself music breaks. So, if you're gonna go get a have a snack break, or you're going to get a tea or a coffee or something like that, they say that there's a lot of power in integrating music throughout the day because it helps keep your vibration high. Like it gives you energy. The music gives you energy. It's one of those things that contributes to high vibration. And this is another way to move energy in your body. Okay, so listening to music that moves you in some way. So that's totally up to you what music moves you. But they're just saying this is a little tip. So have music breaks. Also, they're just saying, like, when you are feeling inspired by something or someone, or you have an inspiring idea or anything that to do with inspiration, they encourage you to write it down. So if you have make sure you have a journal, write down what inspires you. Ah, okay. So I asked why, and they said because it helps us, gives you. Okay, so they're saying it helps give you inspiration because it's one way that we move you into alignment. So it's like we're giving you clues about how to best align back. Take yourself back to your soul imprint, your soul frequency. Right? Because everybody has a different soul frequency, a different soul imprint. So when you're inspired by something, it's going to be different from the next person, right? So your inspiration is like a spark of you resonating with something in your soul. So when you write it down, it moves you closer to alignment in some small way. That's kind of neat. That's interesting. Makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, and so okay, yeah, so they said like and don't worry, like if you're excited because you're all about something that just inspired you and you share it with other people and they're like, "What? I don't get it." They're like, "Why are you inspired by that?" Or they kind of brush you off or whatever. Or they are facetious about it in some way. Like they said, just don't even worry about it. Like it doesn't even matter. Don't be affected by by their opinion. It's just personal. Your inspiration is personal to you, so don't feel bad or upset or discouraged if someone doesn't get why you're inspired by something, or if you have ideas that you're sharing. It doesn't even matter whether or not people approve. It does not matter at all. So don't look for reassurance from other people, but feel free to share if you want to, but don't be discouraged if they don't get it. Okay, this is interesting too. They're also talking about how like you're just on the whole inspiration thing. They're also just saying to me there that you can also look back at your childhood, like having childhood memories and where there's inspiration there perhaps. So like, what did you really love? And this is in a positive way, right? So like, what did you do that when you were younger that made you feel super carefree? And like, what did you do? Like, what activities did you have? Like, what did you want to be when you grew up? Like, what did you do for fun? What came naturally to you as a kid? Because they said it's important to pay attention to that, because when you're a child, when you're a young kid, the veil to spirit is much more thin. So you haven't, because you haven't grown up yet, and you haven't been like indoctrinated by society, or you haven't been societally conditioned yet. So you're closer to the spirit realm. You're working more closely with them, so they're just saying pay attention to that, because that is an area too where you can get inspiration about your soul kind of alignment. And so I can get that, because when I was younger, from a very young age, I was always writing. I've always been a writer, always been a writer. Poetry, short stories. I loved writing cards for people. And to this day, I still love writing. And that's what I continue to do, even though I lost touch with it for a while. But I'm back at it now. Through like blog articles and other things that I'm creating at the moment. So just go back and think about like, okay, what was I doing as a kid that brought me a lot of joy, that I didn't even think about it. I just did it, for fun. And even for me, like when I was a kid, I was entrepreneurial back then. I wanted to be a dog walker. So I dog walker. I had a lemonade stand. I had wanting to babysit and all these different things, right? So even at that age, I was still, showing what my natural kind of area of interests were. So I'm saying that because I want you to think about it for yourself, because this is going to help give you some more inspiration about what your soul is kind of yearning for, right? Okay. And also adding to that, they're just saying we want you to take time to nurture what inspires you. So nurture what inspires you. So take it further than just acknowledging it and writing it down. And they're just saying, it's talking a lot about inspiration. And also they're just saying, like, reminding you inspiration can come from anywhere. Like, and they just keep saying this, like, don't attribute your, like, what inspires you to your worth in any way, your self-worth. So I'm just trying to understand what they mean by that. So yeah, so like no inspiration coming from wherever is better than anything else. Like, depending on, sometimes we can really admire people and the way in which they get their inspiration, but they're just saying you don't need to compare at all, or you don't need to attribute that to your self-worth. If you saw something really simple or quick, or something that would be totally underrated and that inspires you, versus someone that had some grandiose story about how they were inspired. Like, you don't need to attribute any self-worth to what inspires you, and what brings you ideas and goals, dreams, ambitions, anything like that. Okay. Okay, so they said, all right, that's enough about inspiration. Now we're going to talk about connections. And so, okay, so I think maybe they're getting into this whole protection thing. So the first thing they talk about now is they're just saying, so now we're talking about how important it is right now when we're talking about connections and communicating with people and conflict and stuff like that. They're just talking about the power of your own personal integrity. And they said we're right now, there's a lot of us that we're so focused and aware of what other people are thinking of us, or opinions that are coming from the external. But what the most important thing is that we're paying attention to ourselves and how we're feeling, and that we're operating in integrity and authenticity and maintaining our own personal power. They say it doesn't matter what other people are thinking. It matters what we think of ourselves and how we're handling these situations. It's about us right now. It's putting more focus on ourselves in handling these difficult or challenging situations rather than what other people are thinking, because we can't do any healing work for them, or we can't make them see anything. A lot of times people have to see and learn things for themselves, right? So if you're having a tendency right now to wanting to fix anyone or heal anyone, this is your opportunity to just take a step back and just focus on what's going on in you, okay? Yeah, and they just said, like, take a chance for once on giving yourself the benefit of the doubt of your own intuition to guide you with this, okay, rather than being pulled externally or elsewhere. They said, just try it, like, just take a step back, lean on your own intuition with this as well. Yeah, and also they just said, you can, if you're planning to talk to someone and you're still feeling a bit uncertain about it, one thing that you can do is write a letter to them first. So write a letter, and whether or not you actually share it or not, but that's one way of getting stuff out, at least, right? And so you can write a letter first. Whether or not you want to give them give it to that person or not is totally up to you. Yeah, and so with this whole thing, they're saying when you focus more on what's going on with you, it takes the pressure off that other person, so they're not feeling blamed, for anything. Last week we talked about like the feeling of wanting to interrogate someone. So they're just saying, like, bring the focus back on you, what you're feeling, how you're handling, how you're interpreting things. Bring it all back to you. Take the pressure off that person, and you're gonna have more success in your communication that way. And you actually say things more powerfully when you do it this way. So in a way that's more impactful to that person. They said you don't have to get into the details. You can just be straight up. Just be straight up about it. And they said give that other person a chance to respond in that way too. So they have the opportunity to kind of mirror what you're doing. And they're just saying this becomes natural. Like this is just something that will become natural at that point. And they also said, don't rush through this conversation, or if anybody is coming up to a conversation or a conflict or discussion or even an argument, you don't need to rush or trailblaze through it. You be like conscientious and thoughtful about what you're saying. Like, think about it before it comes out of your mouth. And they also said, you can, if you're planning on having this conversation, like you're setting up a conversation, they said, make sure you do something that gives you high vibes before you do it. So if that means you're going to work out before, or you're going to listen to music, or you're going to do something that raises your own frequency, that's going to help the conversation go a lot better, because you've already raised your vibrational state. Okay. I hope that made sense. That made sense to me. So I can see now why we're talking about communication so much, and conflict, and protecting our energy, and all those good things with our, we talked about Archangel Michael and the lion, and then the dolphin following that. So those are your team right now for this time. So it's 11:30. See, that hour just flew by for me. That felt like 10 minutes for me. Instagram is telling me I have a minute and 20 seconds or so left remaining before it's going to kick me off. So what we do every week is we'll sign off for a second, and then I'll rejoin. So you can rejoin me, and we'll keep going. And I will check in with you there and see how you're doing, if things are resonating for you. And remember, I'm going to repost this whole last hour so you can rewatch it if you missed anything in the beginning. Okay. So we'll sign off, and then I'll rejoin with you, and we'll keep going. Okay. So make sure you come back so we can keep connecting with Spirit Realm. Okay. So I will see you in just a momento. Okay. See you in a sec. Hello again, welcome back. Thanks for rejoining. So I'll just give it a sec for people to kind of come back in, and then I'll keep going. So thanks for coming back, everybody. I appreciate it. Also wish that Instagram didn't kick me off every hour. I don't know why they do that, but anyway. So now that many of you are back, how are you doing with these messages? Are you getting it? Are they resonating for you this week? Candace says, you're the fourth intuitive to tell me to write a letter to someone I need to say things to, whether I give it to them or not. Yes, I know what I'm doing later. Yeah. That's funny. Interesting. Hey, I've done it before in the past. I find in particularly those letters are also really good for breakups. So, like romantic relationships, I found have been very helpful, very, very healing in a lot of ways. So I do recommend doing that too if anybody's having any relationship troubles right now. So anybody else, are you guys understanding the messages? Are they resonating? You're getting it? I just want to check in with you guys just before I before I keep going, I just want to see what you think and how you're doing. Okay, so Vasana and Simone say yes. Sabrina says, definitely been feeling the need to have a conversation with someone, but haven't been able to find the words and have been thinking of writing a letter. Oh, there you go. And love the idea of raising your vibe before a convo like that. Yeah. Cool. Candace says messages are totally resonating. Okay, amazing. That's so great to hear. It's just so interesting to hear like what you guys are picking up on, because I know so many of you are very, very intuitive as well, and you get your own messages too. Sarah says, writing has always been my go-to when I don't know how to put things into words. Yeah, writing is so powerful. It's my favorite thing in the world. So Lisa says, all the stuff about inspiration is really resonating. Oh, good. That's cool. I was expecting them to be like, I was expecting this to be not about inspiration at all. So that's really interesting. There's a good balance so far of high, like good things and things that are a little bit more challenging for us. Love the message connecting recycling and protecting animals. It's kind of an obvious thing, but I've never connected it in that way. Yeah, I've never really thought of that either, and I totally agree. And it's the first time I've really ever received messages like that from them. So very kind of unexpected. Using music as a booster has come up for me again last night. Interesting. Okay, so this is great. I'm so glad you guys are following along and getting what I'm saying. That's great. So let's continue for maybe like, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes or so, and then I'll check in with you again, okay? And so they are again reminding you, if anybody, maybe some people missed this, but they just said coming up in the next little while here, it may feel like you're hitting some bumpy road. They're literally showing people having to hang on to like the handle in a car because the road is bumpy. So yeah, there may be some bumpy road coming up, but ultimately they just want you to know, like, the bumpy road is part of the road that gets you to a desirable place, like the place that you are wanting to go anyway. So just remind yourself when you do feel like things are bumpy that it's fine. Everything will be and always has been fine. It's gonna be okay. All right. Okay, and also with that, they're showing me the root chakra, so the spinning of the red root chakra. So I'm taking this as making sure that you are staying grounded and connecting to that chakra throughout all of this. So you're connecting to the earth, you are remaining stable and grounded and centered and balanced. Okay, so just pay attention to that root chakra. And with that, they're also saying that, like, it may feel like your energy is going out in a million different places right now. Like they're literally showing like as me, like someone with their energy field, like their aura, and then like a ton of like energy cords going out from their aura. And they just said they really want you to stop focusing on the external so much. Like, I'm feeling like this is like about other people, and bring it back, bring your energy back to you. And again, I always talk about this, like anchoring yourself at your solar plexus, but they're also talking about making sure that you're grounded at your root chakra. So you really want to practice bringing your energy back to you. Bring the energy back to you, okay? This is going to be really important as you're going through those, what feels like kind of a bumpy road period. And they're showing me the owl. Okay. So let's go look at the owl. Okay, here he is. All right. Okay, so if owl shows up, it means meditate in silence and in darkness for a few minutes each evening for the next few days and see what's revealed to you. Be alert to any deception on the part of others, whether they're aware of it or not, and look closely behind any guises that they may wear. This is a particularly ripe period to tap into the fount of intuitive wisdom that's available to you. Quietly observe your environment, watching and listening for signs and omens that will give you the answers to any questions you may have. Now is a particularly significant time for prophecy, and you will see, hear, or feel events before they actually happen. And your most creative cycle now is the night. So set aside time in the evening to work on any projects. So maybe we want to be like doing our writing or anything in the evening moving forward. Okay. So there are different types of owls. I didn't get a specific owl, so I won't get into that, but you can call on owl when you're facing a difficult decision, one that has considerable consequences, and you want to make the decision that will reap the best benefits for all concerned. You want to be more discerning about someone as to what is true and what is illusion or deception. You're going through a rather dark period in your life and you need some help navigating it. You're undertaking a new and challenging course of study and want to increase your confidence in your ability to learn this new material. You want to uncover the hidden qualities, talents, and aspects in yourself and bring them into light. Okay, so there's the owl. What I really get from the owl is just more on this theme about going within. So bringing our power back to within us. So monitoring what's going on in our internal world. And giving yourself the time and the environment to be able to do that. Yeah, really observing. And also, like, when we do that, right, that we're giving ourselves, that is when we're connecting. Like, that is when we're going to connect to not only our higher selves, but also our own spirit team, those in spirit that are working with us. It's going to come through when the mind is quiet, when the mind, body, and soul are quiet, right? It does not come when you have a chaotic mind or busy mind, okay? So there's the owl. So you can also use owl when you are needing some help with discerning about like us, not only using your discernment, but just kind of you're needing help with how do I want to say this? Like you're needing help with not only trusting someone, but just kind of understanding any underlying intentions or motivations. It's all part of helping you understand those difficult discussions that may come up. That's kind of what I get from that, but maybe, I don't know, maybe you've interpreted that differently, but that's kind of what I get with owl, but mostly for going within. Okay. Oh, okay. So they just said it's the screech owl. um, so I'll just go back and look at what does the screech owl say. Okay, so for the screech owl, it says that so screech owl shows up with you're able to retain a strong sense of autonomy even though the task at hand requires cooperation with and from others. Okay, yeah. And also you're being called to do something that seems overwhelming, but be assured that you have the courage and tenacity to handle it. Okay, so for anybody who might be coming up to an uncomfortable situation, especially in communication with others, we've got Screech Owl to help you with that one too. So you can do it, is basically what they're saying. Don't worry, you can handle it, even though it might feel overwhelming at the time. Okay, so Screech Owl. Wow. Okay, so they are talking now about, we're going back to environmental stuff. So now they're talking about filtering your water. So they said, do you know what's in your water? So they said, and they didn't tell me, but they just said, make sure that when you are drinking, like filter your water basically. Make sure that you can get filtered water bottles. You can get them for your tap. You can get filtered water through your fridge. You can get a Brita, or I have a different one that you just fill up a jug of it and it filters for you. But they're just asking you to consider getting filtered water system. This contributes to a higher vibration. So just like we talk about putting good food into your body, so eating clean things, we want to also do the same thing with the water. So Sabrina said, hold on. So Sabrina says fluoride in water calcifies the pineal gland, the seat of the soul. Yes, I have heard about that. So I think they're talking about this, especially with our group, because there's so many of us that are intuitive. There's so many of us that are have lots of gifts, so that are psychic. But maybe some of you are also mediums. You're very intuitive. So and like I always talk about, so many of us, if not most of us, are empaths or highly sensitive people. So we want to facilitate or cultivate habits for ourselves that keep us in high energy. It's this whole thing, this whole, year has been about moving into love frequency, moving into a high vibration. So you want to make sure that you're following through with habits that will get you there. This is all for your highest and best good, right? And then Sheila says shower filters too. Yeah, exactly. That's one thing I definitely want to get that I do not have yet. So make sure you're drinking clean water. And when I say that, I do not mean bottled water. I mean like water filters. We don't need to buy bottled water, okay? So water filters as much as you can throughout your house and throughout your day, okay? I'm also getting that frog spirit is still working with us. So we've talked about frog spirit a week or two ago. That energy is still helping us. So that's much to do with our emotions. Okay. So just on the whole, like cultivating habits that give us a higher vibration. They said when you are not doing those things that help give you a high vibration, it's like you mask your own energy. It's like it's like you block your own light. So many of us are light workers, whether we are we're intentional, or we're already practicing, or we're not. There's so many of us that are light workers. So when you do not cultivate high vibe habits for yourself, and you stay in lower vibrational habits, it's like you're dimming your own light. The higher the vibration you have, the brighter the light you shine. The more light that shines, the more that we raise the vibration and the consciousness of humanity and of the earth. So they're just saying, like, we just want to help encourage you to keep your light as bright as possible. We need the light workers right now. Like, we really need people to step up, right? And continue to shine their light for others. So this is all part of it. One thing that this is coming up for me, that has come through for me this week, that's been coming up for the past few months for me, Spirit is really wanting me to be vegan. I'm not vegan right now, and I eat a mostly vegetarian diet, but I have struggled a little bit with being anemic. So I have a kind of history of having very low iron in my body. So having the light white meats for me really help, but they're still asking me, they're pushing me towards going vegan. So I've been dreaming about it as well. So now I'm like, okay, I really get it. But so for me, that's one thing. So you may notice that you're getting pushed a little bit to cultivate these high vibe habits, and it just contributes to becoming a stronger, brighter light. So I think this is where this is all coming into with the environmental stuff as well. Yeah, so try and drink filtered water. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so just like greens as well, just for Yvonne, like just integrating, oh, you mean for iron, probably. So yeah, spinach is good. I mean, you can get iron from all sorts of things, right? You don't have to get it from meat, right? It's just like, that's how I was brought up. So now I'm kind of like detaching myself from those mindsets and those habits, right? But yeah, I mean, iron can come from so many different sources. So okay, so I'll just go back in for another minute or two, and then we'll move on, okay? Okay, so just on the whole communication thing, particularly with others right now, they said that they're also working with us to continue to help us like stand our ground, and also like to stand up for ourselves. So they said you can stand up for yourself when you feel, when you are feeling empowered yourself, like when you are holding up very powerful energy at the solar plexus. No matter what happens, no matter who confronts you or, sends any bad energy your way, you have the power always over your own energy field to be able to stand up for yourself. So maybe in the next week or a few weeks or so, you might run into a difficult situation there. I kind of get that vibe from the animals that we're getting. But they said the more attention that you bring to your inner world, strength and power and integrity you bring back to your own energy field, the easier this is. Like you won't even think about it. But if you're so focused on your awareness being on others and what other people think and letting other people influence you, like you can be easily affected by that, right? And it can be harder to set your boundaries, to stand up for yourself, to be, in integrity with yourself and all those things. So they're working with you to help you with this right now. A lot of us that are sensitive to energy, empaths, highly sensitive people, we struggle a little bit that way because we don't like conflict. We don't like confrontation. For the most part, we always want stuff to be good. Like we just want it to be peaceful, everyone to get along. But sometimes we get put in really awkward situations with, other energies that are just not in a good place. And it's just about building that power of your own energy field. This seems to be the theme now for weeks. So, so you may, in the next week or so, you may have to stand up for yourself, and don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. You say you may have to tell the truth even if it hurts you. But they said you will look back and thank yourself for it. And they said, like, what you've done before, what you've always done before, or what has been tradition for you, like a pattern, it's not going to work anymore. It doesn't work now. That's why this is coming up. We're releasing and letting go of old patterns and cycles. And they're going to show up. They're going to show up. So that's where we need to stand our ground and stand up for ourselves and continue moving into a higher frequency, right? Yeah, they said our patterns do not determine our future unless we let them. Okay, so this is all about taking your power back, especially when it comes to communication. And they just said, don't underestimate your ability to actually do this. They said, all you have to do is decide. Yeah, and they said, like, it doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be like a soap opera. You can just be firm. Just be firm. Yeah, and they said so much good energy, so much good comes to us when we give ourselves the ability to stand up for ourselves, to stand in our power, to stand our ground. Okay. So, they told me that that's all for now. So, how are you guys doing? How are you feeling? What's up? Are you following? They said that's all for today. So that's all for the, like, general messages. You guys got it? Okay, so, cool. Sounds good. So, yeah, remember, for just if you want to look this up, just remember the lion spirit and the dolphin, and what else? The owl. We also had we also have the tortoise and the frog. They're still working with us. Okay, so you guys are getting it. So Annalise says, I totally get it, especially since I started having filtered water and becoming a vegan. The headaches I had since a child have gone away. Oh, wow. It was a miracle. Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Wow. Okay, so amazing. So this is great. I'm glad that you guys we're vibing together. Okay, you're getting it. So it's 12 o'clock. So if you want to move into some personal questions, let's start to do that. So remember, if you have a question or